Attention! The views expressed on this show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinated ministries and or nonprofits. Enjoy the show.
Good morning, Springfield. Tony Hammock here with the new gold standard. And we've got a brisk morning out there in Springfield. But at least the sun's out today, unlike yesterday when we had a snow day. Those are always so much fun. Anyway, no, I'm really excited about today's show. I've got a guest standing by, and I'm not going to get much sympathy from her because she's from Laurel, Montana, and so forth. But what we'll do is we'll get underway here in just a second, and then visit with her, and then we'll get into the housekeeping items afterwards and so forth. But without further ado, I have Diane Graber up in Montana standing by. Diane, are you with us?
I am, thank you, and good morning. And you're right, you won't get much sympathy from me. It's just about freezing here today as well.
Well, as everybody in the audience knows, this show is about alternative assets, and two of the more popular ones are gold and silver. And some time ago, I met Diane over the phone. I was looking at a new company at the time. Some of you can recall from prior shows we've been talking about 7K Metals out of Idaho Falls, Idaho. And Diane is very much involved with 7K Metals. How long have you been with them?
Actually, I've been with them for 3 years and another week.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So knowing that this is their 3-year anniversary, you were there at the very beginning.
I was there at the very beginning. It absolutely made sense, and I couldn't say no.
Well, and I know that from our conversation yesterday, you have a very impressive background in direct marketing and so forth. Can you share with the audience a little bit about your background?
Sure, you betcha. Actually, I've been in the direct sales space for 27 years now.
Wow.
When I calculated that kind of surprised me, to be honest. I started out my career teaching people how to store food in burnt plastic. I went on to another company then years later that was a company that offered services rather than products. And then I found myself here at 7K Metals. And quite honestly, I was retired from the industry. I had taken the industry and retired my husband from a very long general contracting career. And any of those out there that know how that particular industry works, it's feast or famine. It's very hard work, and you can't do it forever. And we had found direct sales, and in that space, that leverage point where we could create teams of people and create that leveraged income. And so I did that, and I did very well at it, and quite honestly earned a six-figure income in this space for quite a few years and was able to retire my husband, which was awesome. And then we went into some other businesses and business adventures and so forth. And I had retired then from the direct sales space until I got a phone call from a gal that I had mentored in a previous company. And she said, Diane, there's a new company in Idaho Falls. They're looking to sell gold and silver in a membership model. And my husband heard gold and silver and said, you have to investigate this. So needless to say, I investigated. I got on the phone with one of the owners and the founders of the company, which, by the way, we have 4 co-founders, so there's not just one person in ownership and one person making decisions. The check and balance system there is very incredible. So I got on the phone with one of the owners and asked the very pertinent questions and the regulatory questions and the things that most people that get involved in these types of businesses don't really know to ask. All of the answers that Mr. Josh Anderson gave me were just spot on. You could tell that he knew his stuff, he knew his business, he knew this industry, and he was very excited about what they were about to do. And here's really what was the hook for me. They were looking to change and be the disruptors of 2 very important industries, one being the gold and silver space and how the average person interacts with gold and silver. And prior to my being involved with 7K Metals, the only gold and silver that we owned were either in our teeth or a couple of Morgans that my husband had bought from an auction. I didn't really know a whole lot about the gold and silver space, but this gentleman did. And then the other space that they were looking to disrupt was the direct sales industry. And all four of these owners have been on the corporate side as well as the field side of network marketing, relationship marketing, whatever you're terming it today. But they were very well-versed on what's going on in that space and how there's a lot of overpriced products that people are putting into the space, and a lot of companies that come and go very quickly and do the kind of cash and grab thing. And they also were very mindful of how big-time leaders, the really high-end leaders in the space, are pretty much being bought and sold from company to company. And that's, to me and to these owners, a direct cancer in this space. So they were bound and determined that they were going to change that all. And they were going to change the fact that the average guy, just in most companies, wasn't making very good money. They were spending money on whatever the product or the service was and getting very little in return. So they were looking to create a model that helped the average person not only interact with gold and silver and put it in their possession, but not at an overinflated price. And then they wanted to make sure that the direct sales space got impacted as a result of what we were doing. So they do not buy leadership. They do not give the deals that are out there in the rest of the space. And they really wanted to build this organically with average, normal folks. And that very much intrigued me because being in the space for so long, I've seen it. Most generally in a lot of the companies, 2% of the network makes money, while the rest of it feeds that 2% and buys the product religiously and yet never really makes any money. So when they were talking about $500 cycle checks that could be paid out on a weekly basis and that we could actually have the average guy come here and make very above average income, I was really interested, and it really intrigued me. And then the membership model that they were putting together was very different. There's never been anything in the space that's membership model like this. And it's kind of on the same lines as a Costco or a Sam's Club or even a golf club membership, where membership carries privileges. And the privileges that are offered with our membership have just been getting better and better and better as these 3 years have turned out. As a matter of fact, we've even so much as added an IRA program into our membership as well as a healthcare program. There's not another company in the direct sales space that's been offering a healthcare program to their members. So some really good things have come out in 3 years' time. The company is seriously evolving. We're now just about to step into the global marketplace. They're working on technology for translations and new materials in different languages and so forth. And they'll go into these other markets correctly. They're not going to try to sneak into countries. They're going to do this diligently, and it'll take a little bit of time, but they're going to do it so that we'll be solid in these other countries. And that's very important as well. If you want to build a really, really big business in the direct sales space, you need to travel outside of the borders of the United States. So they've got their eye on the prize. They know exactly what needs to be done, the timelines in which to do it, the methods in which to do it, and they're doing everything that they're doing with the utmost of integrity. And that really has inspired me and helped me to build a really good business one more time and bless a lot of people's lives. But yeah, that's why I'm here, Todd, and that's why this all makes so much sense to me.
Well, I mentioned to you that this show is broadcast through the Acts Media Group, which is part of Acts Ministry. And, when I first met Sharon, she talked about the four founders and what, godly Christian men they were. And I know that was kind of a influencer for me just because I kind of like that kind of behavior or personality at the top, as far as how a company is managed and so forth, directed and so forth. So I'm glad you brought them up and a little bit of their background and so forth. I know that we talk a lot about the membership and some of the benefits and stuff. The dealer direct pricing, how important is that?
That's critical, and that was one of the basis of starting the company. Roger Ball, one of our founders, truly believes that every household should have that safety net of precious metals. And anyone who has acquired wealth in their life should be protecting their wealth by diversifying some of that into precious metal assets. Stop and think about this for a moment. Back in 1965, if you would have taken 2,500 silver dollars into a Ford dealership, you could have bought a brand new Ford Mustang. Now, fast forward to today, if you were to take $2,500, paper dollars, into a Ford dealership, do you think you walk out with anything more than maybe rims and tires today?
If that, yeah.
Probably not. Now, think about this, though. If you were to walk in with 2,500 silver dollars, the same as you did in 1965, you could come out of there with 2 brand new Mustangs today. That's the intrinsic value of silver. That's the intrinsic value of these precious metals that I quite honestly didn't have the understanding of until I met Roger, until I really dove into the whole concept of collecting precious metals. And so with that being said, the dealer direct pricing on the bullion is critical. It allows all of us, anyone that's a member, to put away whatever they can at the timeline that they're eligible to, at the same price as the guy who's buying massive amounts. So as our members are collecting these commission checks, I'm seeing a lot of these folks take a portion of it and put it into precious metals and buy what they can and then use the rest for their household. I must tell you that one of the most incredible things that's happened to me in these 3 years is seeing the lives that I've blessed based on the pay reports. Now, like I said, I've been in this space for 27 years. I've never had this volume of people collecting checks every week that matter. A $500 check, I don't care who you are or what part of the country you live in, $500 makes a difference in someone's world. And to see these folks on a regular basis collecting these $500 increment checks, and some of our people are collecting up to $3,500 a week. And they're normal folks that just dove in and decided to bless a lot of other people's lives and share our message. And to see that on a consistent basis, that's really made me understand that I'm doing something right. I'm not asking folks to buy overinflated products and stack them in their cupboard and hope that they get them used up before they expire. These people are putting away a tangible asset, and they're doing it at the best price in the marketplace. That's an exciting piece of our membership that really has had a huge influence on how I feel about what I'm doing and the pride that I carry in what we're doing and the message that we're offering. And then the idea, too, that we're getting these incredible offers now of rare and very limited coins that only a very few amount of them have ever been minted. And our relationships now worldwide, because of the buying power that we've created with this mass membership that's been created, we're getting things that are offered to us that are not offered to anyone else anywhere, even on the big websites out on the internet. These folks are not getting these coins and these rare things that we're offered. And that's something else that you can't put a price on that. And on down the line, some of these items are going to be extremely valuable. And then stop and think about this for a moment. There is a mass majority of families today that a $400 hiccup in their life just upsets everything. Their water heater goes out, their air conditioner breaks, their car breaks down. If it's a $400 repair, they're either putting it on a credit card and paying exorbitant fees for that, or they're going and borrowing it from a family member. Whereas if they had been putting away precious metals, and I've actually seen this happen, we had a young lady in our business that her van broke down, and that's the van that she goes to her traditional job in, and that's the van that she carries her children to school in, and her van broke down. Well, fortunately for her, she had been putting away a little bit of precious metals at a time. Every month she put away a little something. And part of our membership benefits is that we have a buyback program that offers you the best price in the marketplace for buying back your precious metals. So she was able to make a phone call to our corporate office and said, I have this, this, and this. Is it a possibility that I send it back to you? And how quickly can I get a check? Well, within a matter of days, she had sent the metals back to the corporate office. They wired funds into her account based on what the buyback price of those metals were, and she was able to fix the hiccup in her life by having those metals in her possession that she could fix that situation with. So that safety net that we're providing for folks and that little peace of mind, I think is an incredible, incredible piece of what we're doing that's making a difference in people's lives. It's not a shake or a lotion or a potion, and please don't get me wrong. There's a lot of fantastic companies in this space that offer life-changing products. Please don't misunderstand that. But I also know that if you get a garage full of those, at some point they're going to expire and you're going to be throwing them away. If I get you garage qualified in this model, you're going to thank me one day, correct? You not agree?
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Well, and, you know, the audience, those that have tuned in before know that I've got, you know, half a dozen at least sources for gold and silver, not to mention, you know, platinum, palladium, and a few other metals and stuff. And I got to tell you, I've been checking in the back office and looking at some of the prices that are back there, and I'm always impressed. I mean, you know, it seems like there's several layers of markup that aren't there, which is back to the dealer direct pricing. And even better, it seems like a lot of times not only do they have the price, but they have the buyback price posted right there. So you know, and if you're trying to, you know, look at spot and all this kind of stuff, and then, you know, try and find a good bargain and so forth, this membership doesn't take long to pay for itself in a big way. You know, you mentioned several things that made me think of other topics I wouldn't mind touching on. I know we've got just a limited time today. For those of you that have just tuned in, we've got Diane Graber with us today from 7K Metals. She's out of Laurel, Montana, and she's been with 7K for 3 years now. And what we're going to do is we're going to visit with her for another couple of minutes here, and then we'll let her get back to her morning. She's an hour behind us here in the Central Time Zone, so I'm very grateful that you were willing to get up and get on the call at 8 your time and so forth. But what about this Auto Saver program? How important is that to have as part of the program?
Quite honestly, that is all of us not making that $1.2 million mistake that we were all mostly unaware of. And what is that $1.2 million mistake? Had you bought an MS-70 Silver Eagle from the time they created them in 1986 to today, that collection would be worth over $1 million today. Actually, they're saying it's about $1.6 million today.
Wow.
So our Auto Saver program, the standard coin that's offered on that is an MS-70 Silver Eagle, which that coin is guaranteed for its weight, content, and purity by the United States government. It is the most sought-after coin in the whole entire world. You talk to people from other countries, they want the Silver Eagle. It's pretty incredible. And we get one that is Mint State 70, which is the perfect coin. It has no flaws, no scratches, no imperfections from when that coin was struck, and it's encased, and it has a serial number on it so it can be tracked. So in terms of that, that's what we call our Auto Saver program. And you have a choice on the Auto Saver of the Silver Eagle or a variety coin, which is something different that they have sourced out, and we have some incredible buyers that are sourcing some really crazy good coins in the space that they know will have some value on down the line. So you've got your choice of a variety coin every month where it's kind of like Christmas once a month. You don't know what's in the package. Or you can also do a gold coin. And I actually have members in our membership that pick up all three every month. Now, I absolutely suggest that everyone gets on the Silver Eagle Auto Saver just for the simple fact that some of those coins, and you have no idea which ones will be in that category, have dramatically changed in value. There's some of them throughout the years that have just done some incredible things that we just don't know. History, tells us that they are going to be worth something on down the line, but some of them are worth way more than others. So I don't want to take the chance of missing out on one of those years that are going to be really extremely valuable. And quite honestly, what we did, we have two grandsons. Our first grandson is 5 years old now, and he has become an avid coin collector, straight up because of the fact that we picked up a Spider-Man coin in our variety package one month. And he saw that Spider-Man coin and, decided to tell Grandma that he really likes Spider-Man. And so every month he's in looking at the coins. Do you have any more Spider-Man coins, Grandma? So we've turned a 5-year-old into a collector, which is pretty exciting. But we took that whole first year of our Silver Eagles and set them aside in the safe, earmarked for when little Mason graduates from high school. That will be his graduation gift. So I've got it already done, set aside, and who knows what that collection will be worth several years from now. So things like that I had never even thought of doing, this model has just opened my eyes to the fact that I have my hands on something that not only could change my family's situation and my family's world, but I'm blessing a whole lot of other lives. I don't feel like I'm uploading people with something that they may or may not use. I feel as though I'm giving them that safety net that they might need just in case. I feel like I'm giving them the opportunity that something that's in their collection may be extremely valuable one day that they may want to pass on to their children. And then I'm creating this true residual income with our autosaver program. See, based on our model, anyone who purchases a coin on that autosaver program creates points, and those points turn into dollars for us. And so as everyone is collecting these coins on a month-to-month basis, we're seeing a whole lot of $500 paychecks created that are going out and blessing the lives of just thousands and thousands of people. While all the while, we're collecting a tangible asset that will always be worth something. It'll never be worth nothing. So I feel really good about that. I feel really good about involving people on our autosaver program because, quite honestly, most of us lack the discipline necessary to be that person that goes to the coin shop once a month or goes online and purchases something on a consistent basis. I'm one of those people that would not have been diligent enough to do that. And with this autosaver plan, I'm able to have that happen on autopilot without even thinking about it. And then to top it off, it comes out of my commission structure, so I don't even feel that I've, spent that money. So that's really been a big part of the program that's helped a lot of people in a lot of aspects, and it's going to continue to for decades to come, I'm sure.
Well, I'm glad you went into that because I got to tell you, and some of the people that have tuned in week after week for the show know this, I have these moments where I'm a big skeptic. And I got to confess, the other day I went online someplace and I found all the way back to 86 what the MS-70 Silver Eagles were now going for. And, because I wanted to kind of check on this $1.6 million amount because I was, just, like I said, a skeptic and stuff. And I got to tell you, the 1 year, what happened in 1999? Have you seen? I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I got to tell you, in 1999, some of those coins are going for $19,000.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
I mean,
it's been incredible.
I mean, golly, if you got one a month in 1999, and then you got 12 times what 19,000, right there is about a quarter of that amount.
A good chunk of money. Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
And then right there at the end.
Then,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Stop to think about this for a moment. In 2018, the U.S. Mint sold out of Silver Eagles.
Which year was that?
2018.
Oh, that was last year.
Exactly. So stop and think about that.
Supply and demand.
That coin alone could definitely soar in value. Now, can we guarantee that? Absolutely not. But is that a really distinct possibility? Absolutely.
Well, and right there at the end, you talked about, how the monthly cost of your coin is coming out of your commission check, so you almost don't even see it. But, the other thing I kind of wanted to have you, shed some light on is this travel savings card or cards because, here a couple weeks ago, I got to use my first one for a little trip to Tulsa with the family.
Oh, nice.
And, I was able to save $88 off the cost of the room that we had that Saturday night. And, I'm a lifetime platinum member at Marriott, so for, I think it was $106 or $109, something like that, we stayed in a, concierge level room with all the benefits and stuff, and saved all those dollars by using the travel savings card. Is that something that
Nice.
you're getting to use yourself?
Exactly. And you know what? That's just an added benefit that they've added to the program based on their relationships and their friendships across the country. And that travel savings program is simply a card that comes in the mail to you, that you have a travel portal that comes with your membership with 7K Metals. It's called 7K Getaway. And really what they were looking to do when they incorporated this travel savings program together with our program is to help you have a lifestyle that's changing as well. They want you to go see these beautiful parts of the world. They want you to go to these all-inclusive resorts. They want you to stay at the nicest hotel and have a discount on it and be able to feel like you can do that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use those cards. And quite honestly, one of the best things that I've done with those travel savings cards is we had a friend that was going through some cancer treatments and had to travel from Montana to Colorado on a consistent basis. And the treatments were outpatient, so he would go in and have the treatment, stay in a hotel, have to go back the next day for one more treatment, stay in a hotel, and then travel back home. So they had 2 nights hotel stay for every single time that they went back and forth to Colorado, and the hotel stays were just kind of kicking their butt. So we gathered up some of those 7K Metals travel cards, which they're $125 value per card, which, by the way, those come with our monthly autosaver coins. So, in essence, that coin ends up to be free if you use that card. But we gave them some of those cards and said, go on this travel portal, enroll these cards so that they're in your travel bank, and then go pick the hotel that you would rather stay at and get a good discount on it. So we were able to help them stay in a nicer hotel for actually lesser money than they were paying for the one that wasn't so nice, and help them through a very difficult time. So there are a lot of different ways that you can use those cards. You can give them away, or you can load them up on your own travel portal, go visit your grandchildren one more time a year and save on that travel on a rental car or on the hotel rooms and such. There's a lot of different ways to incorporate that into your everyday life as well. And again, it's just another member benefit that we're just afforded just because of the relationships of the owners of our company.
Well, Diane, I can't believe it. We've already kind of gone through our 30 minutes with you and stuff, and I would love to have, you stay on for, gosh, at this pace, hours and stuff, but I know you've got other things to do up there in Montana, and we're getting close to needing a break for our sponsors. So let me be the first to say I'm very grateful for you tuning in. Everybody that was listening, this was Diane Graber from 7K Metals. She's out of Montana. And, you are more than welcome to go to the website, 7kmetals.com, or you can go to the goldaffiliate.com, and that'll basically take you to my website with 7K Metals. And, Diane, just thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us this morning. We've had Tony Hubbard on, and he talked a little bit about the fundraising program. And early on, now a couple months ago, we had Sharon Volz on. So thank you for I guess, completing the trifecta we had.
Thank you. I appreciate that. To put me in the company of Sharon and Tony, that's a compliment that I will take, and that's making my day. I must tell you that.
Well, thank you so much. You have a good rest of your day.
Thank you as well. You have a great rest of your day, and I appreciate the opportunity to share this with you all.
Okay. Bye-bye. Is the golden microphone showing itself?
Yes, it is showing itself. All right, Jay, you ready? Here we go. Hi, everybody. Matt here again from the producer's desk here at Axe Media Group, Axe Television Network. Thank you, Tony, for turning it over to me for just this brief moment. I want to let you guys know that this show is brought to you by naturalsolutionstore.bz. Now, the product I want to talk about today is a little product I like to call CoQ10. I don't like to call it. That's what it's called. Coenzyme Q10 is a substance similar to a vitamin. It is found in every cell of the body. Now, your body makes CoQ10, and your cells use it to produce energy your body needs for cell growth and maintenance. I didn't know that. Did you, Tony?
I just from listening to you on prior shows.
Glad I could help. Now, it also functions as an antioxidant, which protects the body from damage caused by harmful molecules. Now, CoQ10 is a powerful antioxidant that fights free radicals. It's completely water and fat soluble, and it absorbs fast so that you can enjoy CoQ10's health benefits quickly and naturally. Now, dozens of clinical studies have proven CoQ10 to be one of the most remarkable natural supplements and antioxidants around. It supports heart health, and it boosts cellular energy, replenishing the body with the CoQ10 that it lacks. Now, although the human body is capable of producing CoQ10, as we age, the body loses its ability to produce enough. In addition, many cholesterol-lowering statin drugs can also deplete the body of CoQ10. But take heart. There's a joke in there. Take heart. Helping the body to return to normal levels is as easy as going to www.naturalsolutionstore.bz and picking up a bottle of CoQ10 today. Back to you, Tony Hammock.
Great. Thanks, Matt. So Diane was very gracious with her time, and we didn't even get 50% of the way through all the different member benefits that the 7K Metals has. And, let me make this really clear. I mean, I've got the ability to talk about, any of these different alternative assets when I do a show and stuff. And I'm getting more and more fond of the 7K option for a couple reasons. A couple that we didn't even get to on the benefits were the 7K limited and rare coins. I got to tell you, if you really get into this, there are some coins that are like pre-1933 coins that allow you to maintain your privacy. Basically, you do not have to fill out a 1099 if you buy or sell them, which some people really, really like. And they have access to those from time to time. So, that's always nice. There's, if you decided you wanted to share 7K Metals and generate some of the commission checks that Diane was alluding to, there are some 1099 tax advantages. And let me be the first to say I'm not a CPA or an accountant. But, I think if you're in this to make a profit, there are some ways you can write off some of your expenses. And, you need to consult with your CPA or accountant on how that's done. But they also now have this gold-backed IRA through New Direction IRA. I actually tuned into a New Direction webinar yesterday on Platinum, I believe it was. Excuse me, and I was very impressed. So any of you that have questions about something like that, you're always welcome to call me at 417-755-0700 or Tony at thegoldaffiliate.com. And then Diane did mention the 7K Healthcare Program, and what they've done is they've teamed up with Freedom Healthcare to provide their members with a premium healthcare plan option. So in other words, if you were in 7K and decided to share the program and so forth, you'd have access to this Freedom Healthcare, which I'm very much familiar with from another program I work with, and they are fantastic. And then the residual income for a lifetime she did touch on as far as what she does. She's very, very good at direct marketing. She's very, very humble because I do know a little bit more about her past than she's shared, and I do know that at one point she was a top producer, #1 in the country for a company that everybody would know. So anyway, let's do this. Enough about the 7K and the member benefits and so forth. I always like this part of the show because we can get into the devotional for the stewardship course. And the stewardship course, we're on our second course in this program. And today's devotional is called The Right Perspective. Excuse me. And I will read this to you. In our last devotional, we looked at how money, riches, and wealth are untrustworthy. So the natural question is wealth a bad thing? And let's go back to 1 Timothy 6:17 through 19 for our answer. Command those who are rich in this present age not to be haughty, nor to trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God, who gives us richly all things to enjoy. Let them do good, that they be rich in good works, ready to give, willing to share, storing up for themselves a good foundation for the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life. I believe God makes it clear that if you are in a position where he has blessed you, you should enjoy it and do it guilt-free. If you can take the whole family on a 30-day vacation to Europe, go for it. Just make sure you pay your tithes first. Make sure you are generous to the work of God. But enjoy what God gives you. It is a gift of God to be able to enjoy the fruit of the work of your hands. God is all for us enjoying whatever measure of prosperity we have. He just wants us to be generous in proportion to our prosperity. He wants us to be ready and willing to give big, to be sowing extravagantly into the gospel, and thereby laying up treasure in heaven. The point is this: do not just live with your eye on this world. Rather, live with your eye on the world to come. If you do, you will truly be able to enjoy the wealth God gives you. And I really like this devotional for a couple reasons. That was based on 1 Timothy 6:17 to 19. But this dovetails with one of the things that I know Jim Whining is very, very much in favor of, which is, you know, if you've got the ability to help somebody, you know, I've heard him say this a number of times. It just really is powerful, you know, to take, like if you got a $20 bill, rather than, you know, spend it on something frivolous or something, why not buy a Bible or two and get those Bibles in the hands of somebody who could benefit from them, maybe somebody who's not a believer or somebody who doesn't have the wherewithal to buy their own Bible, and, you know, share the message. In other words, don't sit on your laurels and enjoy all your prosperity, but take that as an opportunity to show God's omnipotence and, you know, introduce him to people who may not be as familiar with him as folks are in the Acts ministry. Anyway, we have concluded that part of the show, and hopefully you are like myself in the fact that you kind of like the stewardship part of it. I actually think that might be the main part for me, just because sometimes it helps me just to read these devotionals out loud and kind of remind myself of some of the things I should be doing a little bit better job of. As far as the other things we like to do with the show, let's get into some of the updates on the pricing. One thing I will mention is that, you know, gold has gone from, I think, $1,400 when we first started the show to $1,525 at one point. Today, right now, it's trading at $1,465.20 an ounce. It's up $8.50 today alone. And the only reason I like to kind of point that out is the volatility can be our friend. You know, a lot of people, they think, oh my gosh, I bought gold at $1,500 and now it's at $1,465. I'm losing money. And that's not necessarily the case unless you go sell it today at $1,465. I'm a true believer in dollar cost averaging, and, you know, at $1,465, it's really a buying opportunity, and you can add that to your other purchases and bring down your overall cost. Silver right now is at $16.98 an ounce. Platinum is at $878 an ounce. It's up $5 on the day. And palladium is up it's up $18 on the day. It's $1,724 an ounce. And then rhodium's up $50, and it's up to $5,550 an ounce. Now think about that. 1 ounce of rhodium is worth $5,550. I mean, that's a lot of money. But those prices also tell you something. It tells you a little bit about the supply and the demand. Silver, for example, at $16.97, that's still less than it cost to mine silver out of the ground. And so I've been trying to encourage a lot of folks to put some of their money into silver and just sit on it. Let's you know, give it 36 to 60 months and see what happens. There's a lot of folks in the industry that think that silver is going to, you know, go up a great deal. There is a ratio between silver and gold. that basically has been a ratio an average they've used for centuries. And basically what they do is they divide the cost of an ounce of silver into an ounce of gold. And historically, that should be, I mean, if you really look at the historical prices when things are normal, that should be about, 15 to 30, somewhere in there. And right now, I mean, the last time I checked it a couple days ago, it was something like 86 or 82. So if you can take 82 ounces of silver to pay for 1 ounce of gold, what does that tell you? I think what it tells me is that silver is due to go up, and or gold's due to go down, and I just don't think the likelihood of that happening is a big risk at this moment. I mean, if it does, then there again we've got a nice buying opportunity. And as Matt said when we started the show, all these opinions and stuff are not those of Axe Ministry or Axe Media Group. It's just me, sharing some thoughts with you after 37 years in the financial services industry. But anyway, on to the other metals. Now, these are by pound. Those first half dozen were by ounces. But copper right now is $2.64 a pound. Nickel is $7 a pound. Aluminum is 80 cents. Zinc's $1.13. Lead's 92 cents. And then y'all know I like uranium. Uranium is $24.65 a pound. And then crude oil right now, it's up 40 cents today for a barrel. It's $57.20 a barrel. And as we speak, the Dow is down 18.59, I guess I should say. And that brings it to 27,673. So we've got an interesting day out there as far as financial services. The minute this show is over at 10 o'clock Central, Chairman Jay Powell from the Federal Reserve will be making a presentation. And, everybody's kind of standing by to see what he says. And, of course, we've got all this stuff going on Capitol Hill about, the impeachment process for President Trump. And, we've got the trade war with China. And, are they going to lower the tariffs, or is the trade war going to be over and stuff? And, in a lot of ways, these are just distractions and noise. I mean, yes, it's things I like to pay attention to and so forth. But, in the long run, I think it's important to be looking at some of these alternative assets just because of, the way they can benefit your overall portfolio. I think most people that are in the business think that, you should have 5 to 10% of your portfolio in gold and silver. Some have a little bit more, some have a little bit less. And remember, what we're talking about on this show is we're talking about the real stuff. We're talking about bullion, these coins, these silver eagles, the gold eagles, things like that. And the reason being is for those of you that have watched the program long enough, remember Ryan Long's analogy, which is, if you actually own the gold and silver, and even better if you've got it in your possession, tucked away in a safe, or someplace where it is out of harm's way, so to speak, you would be very much like the person that was getting ready to go on a cruise, and you looked at the name of the vessel and it was the Titanic, and it's the Titanic. You're getting on board with your family, and they're greeting you at the top of the ramp, and they give you a life preserver to put on right then. That would be as if you were owning gold itself. If you owned an ETF or a certificate or gold in a paper format, it would be very much like at that point they were saying, okay, here's your certificate for your life preserver, and how would that make you feel? Knowing that you were getting on the Titanic. Because I got to tell you, probably when they hit the iceberg, taking your little paper certificate up to the captain's level and asking to redeem it for a life preserver would not be, something that would get taken care of as quick as you'd like it to. So we're very much in favor of the possessing the gold directly and so forth. Anyway, we've covered a lot of ground today, having Diane on board. Let me look here real quick at my other source of information here. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of articles here about buy gold before Marxism destroys your money. My friend Egon von Greyers over there in Europe with the Matterhorn Group. I love the way this gentleman writes these articles and so forth. And, you know, I would encourage you to try and educate yourself on some of these things. Don't take my word for it. Don't take the bank's word for it. Don't take your financial advisor's word for it. You know, it's real easy to find sources of information to educate yourself. I mean, if you were on the show last week, you know, we talked a little bit about, you know, let's do something different. Let's take and see if we can figure out what we can do about this debt problem we've got, not only here in the country, but in the world. And, you know, there was one article this week I was passing around that was talking about us being, the world being $188 trillion in debt. So we're always talking, oh, at the U.S., we're $22.5 trillion in debt. And then if you add the entitlement programs on there, you know, the things we have in pensions and, you know, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all this kind of stuff, you know, it adds another 20 trillion and stuff like that. But that's still, what, 40-some trillion dollars. The world is about $188 trillion in debt. We've got this bubble here that is one of the reasons why a while back I got so adamant about the gold and the silver, is at some point we're going to have some things happen that will not be pleasant. And I know that since I've been doing this broadcast for a couple months now, my family, we've added several ounces of silver to our holdings. And, you know, it gives me that peace of mind at night to sleep at night, knowing that if, you know, I wake up in the morning and the dollar is worthless, that I can still go out and get a tank of gas or groceries for the family or whatever it may be and so forth. But let's get back to the challenge I had last week, which was, you know, let's come up with some solutions. I have not had one person call me, email me, or to my knowledge, text or email Matt or Jason. I don't know, did you guys have anybody at all write in or call in with an idea?
Not yet.
Not yet. And, I mean, I'm not trying to be, you know, combative or anything, but I am, I guess, kind of just curious. I mean, you know, if there is going to be a solution, it's probably going to come from us, because the folks on Capitol Hill, you know, they're always trying to get more votes. And probably some of the solutions that need to be talked about, they don't want to talk about, or at least openly, because it's probably not going to encourage people to vote for them. And I don't know what the solutions are. I mean, that's the reason I'm asking, you know, in this format is, you know, let's have a dialogue and find out if somebody's got an idea that nobody's thought of. I mean, I think the big idea is, oh, we're probably going to have to increase taxes. You know, right now we've got one of the lowest tax platforms we've ever had as a country, especially after Trump's program went through here a while back. And, you know, so there's a lot of talk that, you know, maybe not right now is the best time to, you know, think about cashing out your IRAs or cashing out the things that are growing tax deferred. Go ahead and settle up with Uncle Sam, you know, the Internal Revenue Service, and then, you know, get your holdings into a Roth or into an index universal life, something that grows tax deferred, and then when you take income out, it's coming in out tax free. And that way, you know, if you are relying on your Social Security at that point, it won't create enough income to trigger an alternative minimum tax. And I probably just went way above a lot of people's interest level there and so forth, but those are the reasons to take my number down and my email and reach out to me if you have questions. You know, once again, 417-755-0700 or Tony@thegoldaffiliate.com. But, you know, taxes and increasing taxes, probably something they're going to think about at some point to offset this $22.5 trillion debt that the country has. You know, the other things would be the entitlement programs. And I don't even want to get into that because, then when you start talking about, the Social Security and all these kinds of things, and, we're going to be talking about it right about the time I'm getting to be the age where I can start taking advantage of some of them. I mean, another year or two and I'll be able to file for Social Security, and although I'll probably wait until I reach that maximum age, which, every year seems to get a little bit older and older. So, God help you if you're, less than 40, because by the time you get up to your 60s, I mean, it may be, 80 is the maximum retirement age. I think right now they're saying 70, and for my age group, being that born in 1958 like I was, I think it's 66 and 8 months or something like that before I have the full amount from Social Security. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough probably about some of those things. We've got a lot of things going on here in the next couple months with the end of the year coming up. You've got tax strategies to be thinking of with your portfolio. Get together with your advisor if you have one, or get together with your CPA or your enrolled agent. Try and harvest some of your tax losses to offset maybe some gains you had earlier in the year. Look at different ways to maybe offset that, and get yourself set up for the beginning of the year. For those of you that are over 70 and a half, you'll have required minimum distributions. I misspoke. Required minimum distributions to start thinking about. So those will be based on the value of your portfolios, or I should say your defined contribution portfolios as of December 31st. So there's just a lot of stuff going on, and most of it's good and exciting because, the only thing constant is change. But I know we're running out of time quickly. Matt, how much time we got?
About a minute.
A minute? What can we do in a minute? I didn't bring Luke, so he can't dance. And so since he can't... No, I'm not going to turn blue. I brought a blue shirt, so I figured that was pretty good. But all kidding aside, I mean, if you do have some thoughts or constructive criticisms for the show, or to, take my challenge, I guess you'd call it, let's write into Matt or Jason or myself, text, write, email, phone call, whatever it may be, and, share those ideas with us. If you want to remain anonymous, that's fine. But I just do think that this show could probably improve if we had some folks calling in or writing in, at least asking some questions, because I know there's questions on folks' minds. I mean, as I go through my week, I bump into people and different things that I do, and they're always asking about what's going on and so forth. What's it all about? That's the favorite question for some of the older folks and stuff. And so anyway, I know that we're now probably at the point where I need to say goodbye. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next week, and I'll try and have us another guest speaker like Diane Graber, who was, I thought, fantastic. Thank you very much.